What is the difference between an owner's policy and a lender's policy in land title insurance? A lender's policy protects the lender, not the buyer, from land title problems or from hostile claims related to land title. Okay, so what that means is, even if the buyer pays for the policy, if it's a lender's policy, it doesn't protect the buyer; it protects the lender. Okay, and I would add that's the typical case. So in most cases, the buyer is paying for the lender's policy. Okay, so if you want protection as a buyer, if you want land title insurance protection for yourself, you have to buy a separate policy. It's called an owner's policy. So what is that? What are the practical implications of that? What that means is if you have some kind of title problem and your bank doesn't care and you only have a lender's policy, it's not covered. Okay, so that's bad. All right, so I'll give you an example. You buy a piece of property for your business. You just get a lender's policy. You don't have an owner's policy. A year after you buy, you get a new neighbor. Your new neighbor comes over and says, hey, I think 3 feet of your parking lot is on my property. I want you to move your fence. And you go to your title insurance company and you say, hey, I'm gonna make a claim because my neighbor's here telling me that part of my parking lot is on their property. And the title company is going to say, we want to hear from your bank. Okay, so you call your bank, you explain what's going on, and the bank says, we're not that worried about that 3 feet. We don't think it has a major impact on the value of the parcel. Your host, right? Your title insurance company is not going to cover if the bank doesn't care. And usually the bank's only going to care if they think it's going to have a significant impact on the value of the property. So you don't want to find yourself in that situation. Now, some people think, well, you know, I know how to make my bank care. I'll just stop making payments on my loan. That'll get your bank's attention for sure. I don't think it's a good solution. For one thing, you could potentially ruin your credit. The other thing is, if your bank thinks that that whatever problem you're having, title problem you're having, doesn't have a major impact on the value of the property, they'll just foreclose and sell the property. So that's not a good solution, right? You don't want to be in a position as a buyer where you're trying to convince your lender that your title problem is their title problem, because there are a lot of situations where they're just not going to care, right? All they're worried about is if you're making your payment, and if you aren't making your payment, can they sell that property for what they owe, for what you owe on the loan? That's what they're worried about. So if you're just having a minor title problem that isn't going to have a huge impact on the value of the parcel, the bank's not going to care, and the title insurance company isn't going to cover it. So you should always, 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 always pay for an owner's policy for your title insurance company. And there are states that actually require the title company to offer you an owner's policy at the same price as the lender's policy. So if you've got an attorney or a real estate broker telling you that you should that you don't need to get an owner's policy for title insurance, you're getting bad advice, right? Don't take that advice and think about getting a different attorney or a different real estate broker, because they're not giving you good advice. The prudent decision is to always pay for an owner's policy. I can't think of any situation where it would be wise to not pay for an owner's policy for title insurance. I've talked before on these videos, title insurance is super important. It's a critical piece of any commercial real estate transaction. Do not buy property without an owner's policy from your title insurance company.